You can tell he played for the Gators. He's smoking cigarettes and drinking gallons of tea.
Troup, Smooch, and the Dawgs Show. Another new episode is coming up tonight.
It's the Dawgs Show. It's the Dawgs Show. It's the Dawgs Show.
You're listening to the one and only Dawgs Show. Your hosts, Troup Brenson and Smooch Moncrief.
Just two dudes talking Georgia football.
How about them dogs?
Welcome, dog fans, to the one and only Dawgs Show with Troup and Smooch and the Dogs. 24-20, another grinded out, gritty game where they find a way to win late in the game. They keep chopping. 24-20 against the stinking Florida Gators. Just shoveling dirt on the corpse of, that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, Florida, like we told you guys last week, very talented, a lot of areas, but it's not a great team. And Georgia was able to make plays when it mattered, when the chips were down, when you had to have them, and Georgia made them and Florida did not. And that's how you win ball games in today's SEC.
Right. One team knew. You texted it to us, right? You said, here it is, where the deep water has arrived, right? When we were all pulling our hair out because the game was back and forth. And the deep water, Georgia's comfortable. Florida knows they're going to lose. Georgia knows they're going to win. And they were both right, Troop.
Yeah. If you were listening to this on any platform and you want to see some stuff we're about to show you that you need to see, move right on over. You can still listen to it if you're in your vehicle. I don't want you looking at your phone, but you need to move right over to YouTube and pull us up, give us a like, subscribe. You'll see it every week because we got great visuals to go with the audio. And check us out on YouTube. Yeah. But class, let me show you something right now. For you Florida fans and for all you other fans who really want to be done with Georgia, for the Georgia Bulldogs to be done and to quit winning these cop games, right? And you're trying to come up with an excuse for it. The ball did hit the ground. That was not a catch. Look at it right here.
Look
just
at the
for reference.
Look at the grass bounce up. Look at the grass and dirt under the weight of the ball bouncing up off the ground.
The separation in his hands and arms, and from different viewpoints. They showed this once at the stadium. They showed it none on the TV broadcast, but they showed some things that from behind that made it. They kind of gave you an idea. The ball hit the ground. They called it a no catch. There was nothing conclusive to make you change your mind. And in fact, it wasn't a catch.
It was conclusive that it hit the ground. Yeah.
Here's a couple of other videos that shows you what it looks like when the ball doesn't hit the ground. Check this one out.
This one's nice. Ball never hits the ground, Troop.
Keeps it right, so tight and beautiful. And when you get through watching that, watch this other. Ball did not hit the ground either time. A good reference for you Florida fans.
Yes, good reference. This is what it looks like when the ball does not hit the ground. Notice the score at this point as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty evident for you folks and definitive for you people who are trying to decide whether the officials affected this game positively or negatively for Georgia. I will tell you that Georgia had more penalties, more penalty yardage. I think it might have been the most penalty yardage Georgia's had this year.
Right.
And if you were looking for an excuse, if you were looking for something that showed you that Georgia was getting propped up, and we're hearing that all week long. It's all over the internet.
Predetermined to prop Georgia up.
Yeah. They need Georgia in the playoffs. They need Georgia. They don't need Georgia in the playoffs. If they did, there's a few plays that they would have called differently the past few weeks. I'll tell you that much.
That's exactly
right. We're going to cover that right now for all you folks who are dealing with people in your office and they're saying one thing and you say, no, and you argue and you don't have enough ammunition or you just feel a certain way. Got you. We got you right now.
We got everything you need.
Just pull your phone up, hit play, show them this part, and we'll walk you right on through that. So as we show you some video here, which is always, we want to be as conclusive as we can, there are some plays that were very, I guess, questionable that they are pointing to.
Yeah.
All our enemies whether it be Florida fans or Auburn fans or Alabama fans or Ohio State fans for that matter.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of Alabama fans this week.
And we just showed you the no catch. We showed you no catch. The ball hit the ground. There's also, of course, and we don't have to show all this, but there was a play here where they wanted Georgia to fumble the ball because Georgia was about to kick a field goal, and it definitely mattered. And it was a big hit on Gunnar Stockton when he was trying to pass the ball. Mm-hmm. Was his hand moving forward? Or was it a fumble and Florida took over and Georgia eliminated their scoring opportunity right there? And Florida fans will jump right on it and say, yeah, it's a fumble. And they're trying to prop Georgia up. Mm-hmm. Is his arm moving forward or not? Does it have control of the ball or not? It's that simple.
It's moving forward. He's got control. It's just not a look. It's close, I guess, and the ball hits the ground after he throws an incomplete pass. Guys, you just can't. It's not. These aren't borderline calls. When a ball hits the ground, it's incomplete. When a quarterback's arm moving forward, it's incomplete. They're both incomplete passes, guys. It's just these aren't difficult things to understand. They might be for Florida fans. And I got to tell you, living in Alabama, to hear an Alabama fan say something about officiating is one of the most hypocritical things I think I've ever heard. Alabama should have lost to Texas a few years ago, and the refs showed up and protected them so much. That didn't happen in this game. And matter of fact, it was the other way. Georgia played through some questionable officiating in this game.
And dude, Alabama has owned Georgia, owned them on the field for the past decade. They have. But they are everywhere right now trying to they want Georgia out of the equation. There is no doubt. They are not enjoying Georgia's ability to keep on winning. And it's bugging them to no end. They even go back. We even go back to the Auburn fumble. Okay, at the goal line. We looked at that. We've talked about it. Yeah, it was a fumble. Georgia picked it up. The only people that were hurt in that situation was Georgia, by not being able to have an opportunity to return it for a touchdown.
Right, robbed of a touchdown. That's what happened to Georgia on that play. They weren't gifted anything.
And the fans who were saying there were 9 calls submitted to the SEC and he got fired for that. He was suspended permanently or whatever they call it. But half of those calls were against Georgia. So it was Auburn getting the benefit of half of those calls. And the fumble was not even a part of any of that because they got the fumble right. They just didn't get the part where Georgia picked it up and returned it for a touchdown right. So who do you think that benefited? And then also they're still pointing to the Kirby timeout like that benefited Georgia whatsoever. Georgia didn't score. Georgia went a couple more plays and they missed a field goal, I think, a long field goal. Is that what happened there?
Yeah. And Georgia finished with extra timeouts remaining, so it served no purpose.
Didn't benefit Georgia whatsoever. Those are the plays that they keep saying with Georgia, and it's taking a life of its own, Smooch. The officials want Georgia to win, and the SEC is in control of these officials from Birmingham, and they're giving them their walking orders. You got to keep Georgia ahead of the sticks. You got to keep them ahead on the scoreboard. You can't let them win. We need them. We have to have them in the playoffs.
Yeah. It's a losing mentality. It's a losing mentality to number one, be so susceptible to the narrative of the media. Guys, the media in sports is no different than the national media. It's the same people. It just happens to be 2 different subject matters. They love to spin narratives because narratives get clicks. They're counting on you being football ignorant and helping to disseminate the narrative further and further because that keeps people stirred up. It keeps people clicking on things. It just reveals a losing mentality. I'm not surprised from Florida because they're losers. I'm not surprised by Auburn because they're losers. I am surprised from some of the teams like Ohio State and Alabama that, frankly, should know better. Losers complain about officiating. Winners play through it and find a way to win, and that's what Georgia did. And I know it stings. You can see the joy in my face with how much it stings you. I know it stings. It's beautiful to be a Georgia fan. It's beautiful to watch Georgia overcome bad officiating and still get it done against a Florida team that's a bitter rival. And it makes it even better to hear how butthurt they still are today, thinking they were going to beat Georgia. Wasn't going to happen.
More penalties, more penalty yardage against Georgia in this game. Let's look at some plays that will refute.
Yes.
All our rivals saying that, the officials are propping Georgia up. If you wanted to prop Georgia up, there's a few plays that maybe you would have changed. You would have been a little more selective on your calls that could have Big changes could have given Georgia all the advantage they needed to win a 2 or 3 score game, maybe 3 score, because Georgia could have won by 2 scores if you know.
Well, penalties cost them 8 points,
down.
right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, the Lagway fumble, non-fumble, and it's kind of one of those things that if you really want to be honest with you, he was losing control of that when he's reaching forward, because you could see the ball start moving, and the ground didn't cause it, and his knees weren't on the ground. And if you wanted to give Georgia a ball down there where they looked like they were about to score and either make that a 1-point game with a field goal or take the lead with a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? The officials ruled. It was not a fumble. Let him keep the ball, and they get a 4th down play with a chance to get 1 yard and continue their drive.
Right. So the entire narrative that they were looking for an opportunity to prop Georgia up, they would have just given them the fumble, and then the incomplete pass that hit the ground wouldn't have even happened. They would have done it right there. They didn't. They called it a certain way on the field. They hardly ever overturned those. I thought it was clear and incontrovertible that it was a fumble, but I'm not going to lose a lot of sleep over it. I thought it was a fumble. They went with no fumble on the field. They upheld the call. But if they were going to...
It was close enough. They could have benefited Georgia if they wanted to there.
100%. And they would have been right. So it slams the book. It slams the door closed on the narrative that they're somehow trying to prop up Georgia, because that was the opportune time to do it. When you have a borderline call, you could have given Georgia the ball right there and put the game away.
And yes, give them a, you definitely could have. Georgia takes the ball over. Georgia did end up taking the ball over because they stopped them on 4th down, which was that Georgia hasn't been great at that this year, and they did that time. But a couple of plays with Gunnar Stockton, again, where officials were jumping into situations, they could have kept quiet, not said anything.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
With Gunnar Stockton. It was one play near midfield, past midfield, where it was a 4th down play, 4th and 8, and he's just clapping. He does the same thing every play.
Every play.
And if somebody's doing this, it's just like a pitcher in baseball. If he's making the same move every time to first base, and you call it selectively, then I mean that's an umpire getting involved. It was an official getting involved here. Maybe he didn't get the message from Birmingham to I don't know. But he called one, just a clap, and you saw it. There was no, and Kirby told Gunnar on the sideline, "You're gyrating too much. You're moving too much. You're going to call that." He wasn't. They showed it again, just clapping hard. He does it every time.
The view from the back is, it's what's he supposed to do? He has to clap where people can hear it. It's the clapping. First of all, I've never seen that before. I'm sure it probably has happened. I've personally watched thousands of games. I've never seen that call before. I think sometimes these officials, remember Balkaday, Bob Davidson, the umpire, in Major League Baseball,
Chipper Jones' favorite.
Yeah, he fell in love with calling balks, and so he just started doing. And I think these officials, they find these obscure rules and look for interpretations and some way to make an impact on the game, when the best officials, you never know they're there. And
Smooch.
Yeah,
on this play, it's a 4th and 8 play. Yeah. Why is he looking to make this call if they've gotten word they got to benefit Georgia in some way and prop them up? Why is he making this call with Georgia going for it? It's a free play. If he calls it against Florida, it's a free play for Georgia. They're throwing the ball up. Could be a touchdown. That didn't happen. A one-on-one coverage, it could happen, though. A lot of times that does happen. Why are you calling that against Georgia? And then Smooch called something a lot of you folks didn't, and I didn't. There was the play before Georgia put it away, but I think it was before Georgia. It was inside the 10-yard line on that second down, and I think 5.5, 6, whatever it was. And they called a penalty down there deep. And you saw something that none of us saw.
Yeah. So what happens there? If you watch, this is Gunnar draws the defense off, and then for some reason we were all excited because we knew it was an offsides, and half the distance to the goal is not going to give them the first down yardage, but it puts them right there, right? And then all of a sudden the officials gather and to conference over an obvious offsides call. It's just an offsides call, and my wife pointed it out. She's better at reading lips than I am. She's like, I could have sworn I just saw that official say you can't call that again. I really believe that conference from the officials, they were about to call yet another simulated snap on Gunnar Stockton for clapping, because it's the exact same motion he uses there that gets him to draw offsides. And I really do. I think that one of the officials stepped in and tried to calm that down. We can't keep calling this. This is a no call type of thing. And they finally went with defensive offsides. But when is the last time you saw a conference on an obvious offsides where the officials stop the game and get together and talk? They did it there. And you're seeing it here. Your lip reading ability may be better than mine. My wife's is really good. We have a deaf son. So lip reading was something that we taught him and learned, and my wife's pretty good at it. I'm not. And so, why stop it for us?
So there was one official that didn't get the message from Birmingham,
right,
apparently. And a couple other plays, Smooch, that if they wanted to stick it to Florida, then I mean, there's a couple of plays here where there was I think Florida was driving down deep and they had a third down, and they threw a slant over the middle. It was a third down. They would have to kick a field goal if this play goes on the way it should have. If you see, look at right here, looks like good coverage.
Great
coverage. He didn't change the route whatsoever. And if the ball was overthrown anyway, but he didn't change anything about the route. And I think it was Zion Branch covering this receiver.
Yeah,
they called a pass interference, gives them 1st and goal, and then they score a touchdown. They scored. I said 4 points. That's 4 points. They just gifted them right there on that call.
Right.
If the fix was in against Georgia,
right,
they're not making that call. Florida fans,
you know what the easiest call to make on that is? The ball's uncatchable, so there is no pass interference.
Yeah, just don't do anything.
That's the easiest thing. The ball's uncatchable. That actually negates pass interference. So you see Zion Branch come in. He has good coverage. He does not pull the jersey back. He does not turn the hips, which is what they look for. He's just stuck to him. There's minimal contact when they come out of their break, but if you're going to call that, you call it every single play on every single pass. You'd call that. It's a terrible call, a very weak call, and it's not conducive to the narrative of being propped up by the officiating troupe.
Not at all. Another play with Georgia. I don't think I've mentioned this one. Did I mention the one about that cost Georgia points again? With it was a pass to Cash Jones. Georgia had a play where they threw it to Cash, and Dylan Bell came in and tried to get a late block. He didn't do anything illegal whatsoever. No, but Cash went down the sideline, got good yardage, put Georgia in scoring position. The penalty, of course, was holding, and it backed Georgia up 10 yards, which pretty much just ruins your opportunity at scoring unless you make some kind of huge play. But those were plays that if you are propping Georgia up, they're not going to call them. They just let them go. Even the play where we saw Georgia throw to London Humphreys across the middle, where he just got blasted. And it's questionable whether it was pass interference, but he got blasted. The ball's in the air. Right. No call. If you're trying to give Georgia the benefit, you're trying to move Georgia towards the playoffs and beat Florida in a very, very highly contested game, you call that pass interference. You've shown that you'll call pass interference against Georgia. Did we see how many pass interferences did we see against Florida in this situation, which are so subjective and so many opportunities to call those not called? Right. Not at all. And it's easy to look at some of these plays and say, come on, guys, don't the low-hanging fruit for losers is always there. Don't pull it off every time. You embarrass yourself, and you don't look like true football fans talking about football. You're just butthurt losers. Yeah, and it's a lot easier to think there's a conspiracy than your team sucks. Yes. It's a lot easier to think that everybody's out to get you rather than the fact that you have a losing culture, a losing coach, a losing team, losing athletic director, and you just lose. And your claim to fame is that you can make games close and then complain about the officiating that would have probably put you over the top. It's just a weak beggar's mentality. And yeah, we're sitting here talking about officiating. Why? We're answering a charge. We're refuting a narrative. Had this not come up, we wouldn't have discussed it. We might have made mention that there were some questionable calls that hurt the Dogs, and we could have won by 20 instead of what did they win by? 6, 4? 4. Should have been 11, but yeah. Should have been 11. Gunnar, in all of his goodness and love, decides to take a glorious knee.
And him and Delt takes it with him. Actually,
Double knee, yes.
A double knee might be the first one of those I've ever seen. Where
Tandem.
They kneeled together, and then the celebration was on. But it really does show the difference in the two franchises and the two reactions, and the reason Florida has so much further to go before they can even be taken seriously again.
Yeah. We knew going in that Florida is not a great team, but they possess the athletes to beat you if they put everything together, but they're not good in the details. And so here's some of the details that did matter Saturday.
Let's hear them, man.
And let's look at third downs. We always say third downs matter. It matters in terms of your quarterback. Your quarterback, if we really break it down to the numbers that matter, is third down conversions. It matters. Your quarterback is so big, so important in how you convert third downs, and they put you in the right play to make the right read, especially in this day and age of college football and some of these reads and RPOs and all that. They make the right decisions. They execute. Georgia was 7 for 15 on third downs. They did not go forward on fourth down at all. So almost 50%, 7 for 15. And here's where Lagway and those Gators failed. They were 2 for 11 on third downs. And so Georgia defense played well, much better than they have most of the season on third downs. They were also 0 for 2 on fourth down. So 2 for 13s on those third and fourth downs. Georgia was 7 for 15. And Georgia had 2 explosive plays. We talk about explosive plays that end in touchdowns. Georgia had 2 of them. And Florida did have one on a little busted coverage. It doesn't matter how it happened. They did have one explosive play for a touchdown, but Georgia won that battle as well. And so those are the numbers that matter, because if you look at those third down and fourth downs, even though Georgia just won by 4, if you switch those around, if Florida's 7 for 15 and Georgia's 2 for 11, Florida wins. Yeah, Florida wins the ballgame.
Go back and look at the Alabama game. You can basically flip those numbers around, and that was the difference in the game. And you didn't hear us complaining about officiating after the Alabama game. It was just a loss, and we took it like a winning team does.
Yeah. So recapping this game, and we've all started to, spend some time looking over it and deciding what we feel about it. It was kind of a weird game. It wasn't an aesthetically pleasing game, but sometimes in SEC, that's just the way it goes. Georgia did, and I'll say this before I give you some statistics on our chat thread, the Dog Show chat thread. Our buddy Chad Kennedy, after the game, was like, "Man, Georgia got cooked on defense," and when he used the word "cooked," and Chad, I love you. The cooked part bothered me, because I'm like, did Georgia get cooked on defense? I was like, it's
a relative term.
Let's look at the stats there, Chad. Georgia gave up 280 total yards. 280. Even Texas gave up over 400 yards against Florida.
Interesting.
280 total yards is all that Florida had. Georgia had 350. Georgia had 223 passing. The Lagway, who everybody's afraid of, only had 166 yards on 15 receptions, 15 completions. Lagway. He didn't control things. He didn't dominate. Their running game had 115 yards. I think 70 yards from one of the best backs in the SEC, Jaden Ball.
Yeah,
but Lagway had a couple of he broke containment a couple times, but he was not really a big factor running the ball either.
No, he had that one really nice run on like 2nd and 20 where he went for.
And we had backup. I don't know why we had Terrell Foster in there for 2 plays.
Yeah,
but he just had a tackle right there at the line of scrimmage and just whipped on it, and I'm sure they yanked him out pretty quick after that. Like, okay, we like Terrell Foster. He does some good things in the spring game, but
the last person I would want to be is him on Monday.
Looking at that, you got to make that tackle.
You got to make that tackle. Yeah.
Georgia had 138 yards rushing, and again, Alabama had 115.
Florida
5.3 yards per play for Georgia, 5.0 yards per play for Florida.
Yeah.
And 21 first downs to 16. Total plays 68 to 56. Georgia still no sacks. And they were sacked twice. I will say that in this game, Georgia didn't get any sacks, but you saw
pressure.
Yeah. And they moved him around, made him get off his spot, made him move laterally.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all it takes, because
he can't throw when he moves. Yeah.
His footwork's not buckled down. It's not. When he's moving, that gives you the opportunity to make big plays, but you saw some of the passes, the inaccuracy on his passes when he was moving.
Absolutely. When I rewatched the game, I thought Florida's had this elite talent. I mean, I don't think anybody would argue that Lagway's talent is elite. You've had this elite talent, and you've never taught him how to plant his feet when he throws. That to me is really indicative of the whole problem with Florida. You've got a Maserati in the garage, but you got mismatched tires on it or something. He can't plant his. If you make him move off his spot, his accuracy goes out the window. And the catch that the drop that you want to complain about and call a catch so much. Look, he had a wide open receiver. All he had to do was get him the ball, and he couldn't do it because he was moved off his spot.
And Georgia, people say, well, they were missing a couple of their receivers. If you didn't know, like the third play of the game, Georgia starting defensive tackle, Jordan Hall, out.
Yeah.
In the second quarter.
Yeah.
One of the most indispensable players, even though he hasn't had a great season, didn't play a great game. Mm-hmm. He was actually involved in a couple of the scoring plays that he made a couple of misplays. But KJ Bolden, the guy, they don't have anybody that's like him. He's gone. Second quarter. See ya. Yeah. DeMello Jones, who was leading right behind. He was number 2 in snaps at that period of time behind Dalen Everett at cornerback. Injures an elbow. Yep. Out, gone. And you got 2 new safeties out there. And you got a defensive tackle. Georgia's plugged somebody. Georgia does have some depth at defensive tackle, so I don't think that hurt them that much. But still, injuries are part of the game, and Georgia just says next man up. Chris Cole, injured, didn't play but 3 snaps.
Wow.
If you didn't know that, just 3 snaps, folks, for Chris Cole. But it looks like, looking at the injury front, Cole's going to be fine. DeMello's going to be fine. Looks like, everybody's saying that those guys are okay. Yeah. We even saw Chris Cole jumping in, doing the Lambeau leap after the game. He's fine.
He was up in the stands with the people. That's right.
Now, Jordan Hall, where we do have some depth, it may be out extended amount of time. But there's other guys, which we can't afford to lose a defensive back, especially the way DeMello's playing. He had one big play in the game, a big tackle. But, yeah, we can't afford to lose those, and we're not going to lose them. Looks like, looking at the snap count, Smooch, 70 snaps for Gunnar Stockton. I'm going to send this out to you. This is some delusion from Georgia fans sometimes. Is this Georgia fan right here wanting Pugs in there? Check it out. I'm sorry. Yeah, we like Pugs. He ain't coming in this game.
You got to be kidding me. Guys, please. Come on, guys. Listen, we don't want to have to hit the DFA on our own team, but we will if we have to, guys.
Yeah, we're going to save that. But just in case and another one. Here we go. Let me send this out too. Smooch, put it out there. Yep.
Oh,
they want to fire.
Sweet goodness.
They want to fire Kirby Smart. See you, Kirby. We're probably going to bring a Dan Mullen in.
Yeah. So we got to get rid of Bobo, Schumann, and Kirby now, and then put Pugs in. Am I hearing that all right?
That's what they're telling us, Smooch. It's
a Gunner, Kirby, Schumann, Bobo problem. I got it.
Yeah, and Searles is right behind him, but I don't know. And so looking at the snap counts, Stockton had them all, 70. Frazier, 29 snaps. Cash Jones, 22. Chauncey Bowens, which we were kind of confused why he wasn't playing a lot. He still had 9 carries to, I think Frazier's 12. But doesn't he look different? Doesn't he run with like some kind of just can't stop him? And he's got inside outside skills too. Doesn't he look good?
He's got this unbelievable ability to get north south no matter where he is. He gets up in the fray and then he plants a foot and he goes and he sees it. He sees the opening, he hits them, and that run at the end. A fan of ours that was at the game sent me a video of the run. They filmed that run from the. I'll play it right here. But the Chauncey Bowens run from the seats. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You knew at that point, okay, the Dogs are doing what they need to do. They've shown up in the fourth quarter, and it was like, Florida doesn't have the character to come back from this, and they went out and proved it.
They did, and you saw 2 other running backs who didn't play it was odd to see Peanut, Dwight Phillips in the game in the first series. And I felt like they were setting something up because anytime he's in there, the defense is going to react a certain way. I feel like they're setting something up. I was like, oh, why is he in there right now? But they did call it. He only got 2 snaps. But the second snap Well, he did get positive yardage, but there was more. He just misread the play where he should have bounced it out because that's where the blocking was. He had a big play there. You could have saw how much speed he had if he would have read the play correctly.
Yeah.
So they were trying to use his speed and keep him integrated into the offense because they do value him and what he brings to the table.
I've got a feeling with the peanut thing that they're setting something up for Texas. I'd be surprised because if you're just going to put him in the game and hand him the ball, look for something besides that. Put him in the game, send him out wide, hit him on something like that. That they're trying to show that they're putting him in a basic running back package. And I think they just wanted to show it to put on film going into these next few games. I think you might see a play set up just for him.
Well, he's always running these kind of not jet sweeps because he's in the backfield, but it's very similar. You know, if he's in there to carry the ball. And so they're going to set something up where they hand it to him and he pitches it back for a little trick play,
right,
where they get the defense moving, and because they know the key is when Peanut's in there, he's getting the block. And only 2 plays for McCray. And I think sometimes game situations dictate when McCray plays, and I understand how that worked this week.
If Georgia was planning on scoring on that last drive where Gunner takes the knee, you'd see McCray in the game. Like if they needed that touchdown, that's McCray territory right there, right? And it just the game situation didn't dictate it.
Wide receivers, you did see Noah Thomas get his first touchdown. He had led the way with 49 snaps, but I kind of feel like I understand why Noah Thomas is not Kobe Young. He's just not as physical of a player. Even on the touchdown catch, there was a lot of air under that pass, and it should have been gotten there quicker, I think. But the way he just kind of waited for it to get there and let it get into his body, I'm like, dude, go up and snatch that.
Attack it at
use
the
your body.
Point. Yeah.
And use your body like you're a basketball player. Block the guy out, make the catch. Don't let him be able to get to the ball without going through you.
Yeah.
And he just didn't do any of that. And I know he's not as good as a blocker as Kobe Young is, but he's what we have. And
we also had an interception that went off his hands too. That's that's something
that cost
else
us points, dude.
Yeah.
That cost Georgia 3 points right there. And people say, well, that ball was behind. It really wasn't behind. He's throwing it away from the defense. You threw it where you need to throw it. It doesn't matter if it wasn't perfect.
If both hands touch it, you need to catch it. Yeah.
Easy catch. It's a really easy. He would tell you that 100% of the time. He's got to catch that every time. Branch, who was one of the players of the game, no doubt about it. Branch and on offense, Branch, and on defense, C.J. Allen, players of the game.
C.J. Allen, man.
But yeah, Branch had
have a game.
Had what was it, 9-10 catches for 112 yards. So one of his biggest games ever. And he was the guy. He's becoming the guy they go to when they need a catch, and he is. It may be in the zone. It may be where he's got to settle into a open area and just make a tough catch, or he's got to create some space, kind of like a Lad McConkey kind of thing. You can't cover him and create it that way in one-on-one coverage, and he's done both of those things. He's the guy that they go to when they need to get a first down.
Troup, Brinson, Branch is the best receiver in the open field receiver. I'm not talking about certain tight ends. He's the best receiver in the open field that I can think of. I'm not talking about running routes like Ladd did. Ladd had his share of great, big, wonderful, huge plays, but you give Branch the ball with 5 guys around him, you're not guaranteed that any of those guys are even going to get a finger on him. He is electric in the open field.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to cover him. And nobody does cover him. And nobody's shown you they can be really sticky when Branch is out there. And then he set up the Noah Thomas play as well, because they get so used to seeing those screens and they're trying to get up there before he gets any space.
Yeah.
And they just pump it to him. And then you got a guy, you got to make a decision, it's confusion. You got a guy running wide open, and that's what you use.
That's essentially a play action pass. But instead of handing it off, instead of faking the handoff, you fake the bubble screen. Yeah,
that's a great point. That's what it is, and that's the new era of football. You have to use those plays like that. And I see so many things in the first quarter that they could be positive plays, but sometimes they're not. But I know that they're setting up something from when you really need it. But you got these casual fans who are just like, why don't we do that? Why aren't we doing this? I'm like, just enjoy it, because you don't know what you're talking about. You don't really watch the film after the game to break these things down. Just be quiet.
Right.
You just you're embarrassing yourself. London Humphreys, Dylan Bell had a good game as well, 44 snaps. London Humphreys, 33 snaps. And then Landon rolling and got his first opportunity and just missed connecting there on the deep pass from Gunnar Stockton. Maybe not perfectly thrown, but just took a shot, got him in there and took a shot.
That was that was, to me, I might be wrong. We might talk to Brooks about this. That was Talon Taylor's play.
Yeah,
I think that's one of Talon Taylor's package that they've maybe got Landon rolled and running right now since he's injured. Yeah.
Well, Talon, everything I hear, he might be ready to return very soon. Maybe not this weekend against Texas if they want to use him. And so, offensive line. The only strange thing I saw, I did see 70 snaps for Monroe Freeling and 70 snaps for Drew Bobo. Only 54 snaps for Micah Morris at left guard. And so I was like, they started rotating, I think, Gaston out in different positions, and they want to get him in there, and they had him in there on a lot of run plays because he's a road grader for sure. So Gaston played 46 snaps, and then Dontrell Glover with 49, and Ernest Green just 9 short of playing all the snaps at right tackle.
Oh, that's a good sign.
61,
That's a really good sign, seeing him out there. Yeah, I think with Micah Morris, I think Micah's dinged. I think that you can use that injury as a way to build depth, and it seems that they're making Gaston into the Swiss Army knife up and down that line, where they can just plug him anywhere they need him. But I thought the offensive line had its moments, but Florida's got some players up front. I thought that they did look, you won a game against your SEC rival. The offensive line played well enough to win. Yeah,
they played fine. Looking at the defensive line, because we did have an injury, you got to figure out where you're going to get those snaps from, which it seems like that Jordan Hall's been injured a good bit. And so we've kind of had to find a way to make a way without him anyway. And still, I think he's almost like third, almost fourth. I think he's third in snaps anyway. He's not like Texas fans were saying on their message board this week, Georgia just lost their top defensive lineman. I'm like, no. He's good. He's a cog, but they've got a lot of guys that are very similar to Jordan. Yeah. And you're going to see names like, this may be an opportunity for somebody like Nnamdi Aboko. And he got 10 snaps. He is a guy who is a big cat, but he's a fella who can get in the backfield. And so you may see somebody like him get in there and not turn it loose. So he got 10 snaps. Of course, Christian Miller got 40 snaps. Xavier McLeod was one that filled in the most. Him and Griffin kind of filled in the most, I think, for Jordan Hall, 24 and 22 snaps respectively. Jonah Ajonye had a good game, 16 snaps. J.J. Hahn, true freshman, 12 snaps.
Okay.
Josh Horton, 13 snaps.
Come on.
So you saw all those guys get in there.
Yeah.
And they can all do the job. I don't think if you're going to lose somebody other than Kristen Miller at defensive line, I think, you're going to be okay. There's enough guys in there who are going to provide the same type of defensive effort who can, Jordan Hall was best for just clogging things up. He really was. That was kind of what he's able to do. He's not going to get through. He's not Jordan Davis. He don't get through there and make a tackle in the backfield a whole lot. He's trying to do his job and just clog things up and be a good run protector. That's about it.
Yeah, and when you go down through the Georgia's depth chart, each player sort of specializes in their own thing. So you're really not – you probably have some drop-off, but it is minimal. But you may put a guy with a little more push in there. You may put a guy that can win a one-on-one battle a little quicker. There's a give and take. These run stuffers, 2 guys that can occupy 2 gaps, but guys that can shoot gaps. So as you go through this depth chart, you're really just sort of employing some different options. It's not. I think the Texas celebration over Jordan Hall's injury is they're trying to give themselves something to look forward to in a couple of weeks, and because they know there is an absolute nightmare waiting for them in Athens.
Yeah. They play a lot similar to Florida, folks. Their offense is very similar to what Florida is. They probably execute a little bit better, and they'll be a team that Georgia's going to have to play better. But Georgia's playing at home, and it's a conversation for a different day. Looking at the defensive backfield, where Georgia had some issues, some injuries, and some issues, but still only gave up minimal amount of passing yardage from Lagway. Ja'Cory Thomas, number 20, who we could talk about all the issues he's had, led the way with 59 snaps. Dalen Everett with 58 snaps. Janelle Aguero with 48. Zion Branch came in because, TJ Bolden targeting in the second quarter. That does mean he gets to start. If it was in the third quarter, he's going to miss a half of football, which is ridiculous. Right. But since it was late in the second quarter, he gets to start the game against Mississippi State, who is a passing team. Yeah. And so KJ only had 18 snaps. So Zion Branch came in for the other 48, 59 snaps combined, total. And so Zion Branch, we saw some good things from him. And
he's not leaving the field. They may find another spot for him. I know the spot they can have, but he's not going to leave the field. His snap count will stay up. He played a darn good game and forced into the lineup where he was. He played really good.
He was probably at fault for that scramble pass that bounced between the receiver's arms. Yeah, that was his responsibility, I do believe. But he also came up and made a couple of big tackles on the line of scrimmage when DJ Lagway was looking to scramble. We also saw Ellis Robinson have 31 snaps, but he's getting a lot of credit.
Pick that ball off, man.
I still think he's playing kind of a up and down game, but I read he's getting all this credit. Finally, he's coming through. I'm like, he made a good read on that play. Pick it off.
Pick it off and score.
Okay. So what if it's second down and you don't pick it off, and on third down and make a big play? Pick it off.
Pick that.
It was fourth down, so it didn't matter. Nobody's going to look back on it. If it had been second down when he did that, and the next play to make a big play, continue to drive, you're like, intercept the ball.
Yeah.
Do what you do. Come on. And but I don't have anything negative to say about him other than catch the ball. DeMello, he had 31 snaps. DeMello, even though he got injured in the third quarter, I think he had 29, which tells you DeMello, who had one big play in the backfield. Yeah. DeMello's like I told you, folks. He's physical. He's not afraid, and he has a dog. He has that dog about him, and he's still just learning as well. He's going to get better and better. But fortunately, he's not. Doesn't look like he's going to miss any time with the elbow. They thought his mother posted on social media. I don't have this for you, but that he was okay. And so, I'm Facebook friends with a lot of his family because they live in Swainsboro. So
yeah, you coached his brothers, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. His brother DJ. Anyway, linebacker. And the player of the game defensively, C.J. Allen, looks like he's finally healthy. If there's any time we've talked about C.J. looking like he was a step slow, maybe that's why. Maybe it was injury, but he played fast mentally. Yeah, diagnosing plays and getting there, and he was there on time to make a lot of tackles. And we saw some of those plays that were reminiscent of some of our past linebackers. We just hope he continues on that trajectory.
Yeah, Georgia does not win this game without C.J. Allen in at linebacker. It is just that simple. He played his best game of this season, maybe best game in 2 seasons.
Yeah. The only other weird things were Chris Cole only played 3 snaps. They said he was dinged up, and his buddy Justin Williams only played 6 snaps. And so you
saw Chris Cole one is troubling. We haven't really gotten a straight answer from anybody, have we, about what exactly is going on there?
No, we don't know. Anyway, that's kind of the snap count. I don't think there's anything else of note to look at that. But I will say, when I do think about what plagued us mostly on defense and what I'm most concerned about is something not coming into the season I didn't think about at all. Our safety position has got some issues, Smooch. Yeah. We are making so many mistakes, our eye discipline and letting people run. You would think it would be from the redshirt freshman on the field, Mello and Ellis Robinson, but it's not. It's our safeties who continuously make mistakes and are coming up too fast on thinking about a run support or a scrambling QB when that's already taken care of. We got guys up there taking care of that, and they're trying to. It's like they want to do the right thing, but their job is to cover. It's like I said a couple weeks ago. If you're an outfielder, there's nothing behind you but the fence. You can't just come up and without any reckless abandon. You have to know you're the last line of defense, and it feels like we aren't reacting to our primary, our primary objective is to not let anybody get by you. You're a safety. Nobody can get behind you, and that's happening too often.
100%. There's some very un-Georgia-like things going on right now. Confusion, guys out of position, and busted plays. I can't remember. We may have had more busted plays in 2 games than we did all of 2022. It's troubling because we know these guys are good athletes, so you can take that off the table as the reasoning behind it. We know they're well coached. Something is not Something's not gelling at the safety position. And it's like when Bolden went out, I was incredibly frustrated. That's a very tame way to say it. But I'm storming around the house here, and who's coming in at safety? What's going to happen? And I said, well, anyone can stand back there and look confused, I think was my quote. And I don't know. The attack is gone out of these safeties. It's either overcommitting to something and getting out of position or just not knowing your responsibility in the first place. And it's strange. It's strange and it's troubling. And with Kirby as the coach, we're never going to know why or what exactly is going on. Is it a coordinator to head coach communication breakdown? Do we really have multiple busts in the secondary of guys we thought were 5 stars? I have trouble believing every one of those. It's something, but who knows?
Well, you got Corey Thomas getting run by multiple times or having issues with eye discipline, but when he's in the right place, sometimes he's a step slow and he's getting run by.
Yeah.
And then you have the best safety we have by far. He looks so much better with Malachi Starks next to him than he does this year, Smooch. He does. Yeah. He was able to do a lot more freely this last year than this year, and now he's turning people loose too. He's doing things where you can't. Mm-hmm. There were a couple. He was directly involved in Florida's first 2 scoring plays, and the touchdown where Alagwe rolled out to his right, and you looked at Corey Thomas, but you know who the guy covering him was from the opposite side of the field was KJ Bolden, and he just eventually turned him loose. And maybe Corey was responsible for that backside of the field, but why would you turn him loose? You got nothing else to do, KJ. Right. There's no other job for you. There's nothing in front of you there. There's no other job for you but just be sticky. And I heard you say, stay close to this man. And if he's double covered, you get back there and Corey Thomas is there too. Guess what? Everybody's okay.
Yeah,
don't turn him loose there.
We'll have a party back
Otherwise,
there.
You're just standing in open space doing nothing.
Yes.
And so he had a couple of issues. On the other field goal, he got lost and turned the guy loose as well. I mean, there's nobody back there but him, and I'm like, what are you looking at? And I'm just saying that a lot of these players, I'm sorry, KJ, you got an opportunity. You're just a sophomore to redeem yourself in some of these aspects. You were a 5-star coming in. You have not played like a 5-star. By yourself when you're the dude. You haven't all season. There's nobody better than you out there, so we need you. But he hasn't played that way. He's been serviceable, and you are happy that a lot of times they look away and go away from him. But when they go at him, he's not been a game changer either.
No.
And sometimes we just need you to do your job. We don't need you to be a game changer. We don't need you to make some kind of incredible play and get a turnover. We just need you to do your job. And the safeties have really let us down this season. And at a time where we got young, I say young. He's the same class as DeMello and Ellis, though.
Yeah.
But he just played last year.
He just got more playing time. I think Troup in the secondary right now, you need players that make the people around them better. And aside from the early potentials there with Mello, you can see it, but we don't have anyone making the other players around them better. Remember when Javon Bullard was on the field, how good Chris Smith suddenly was, right? Those guys made one another better by being on the field. We don't have that right now. And it's almost like I feel like we can just talk around in circles about it forever because it's very un-Georgia-like and it doesn't make sense. And I want a reason. I need something to be furious at rather than just looking at all the open space with receivers running free. But,
well, we lost Malachi Starks and Dan Jackson, and you folks took those fellows for granted. You're seeing what it looks like for a lot of teams. And Georgia could use players like that. Maybe they will develop into that. But even if KJ is doing a decent job, that other safety spot is a source of I would be going at. I'll be putting Georgia in conflict as much as I can as a passing team, and teams they'll recognize that and they're going to try it. And hopefully hopefully explosives aren't touchdowns because there's going to be some explosive plays if they continue to play. The trend continues. There's going to be some explosive passing plays and
next two teams we play love to chuck the ball. I mean, you can bet they're watching film.
The bottom line, Smooch, is Georgia just keeps chopping. And they show you what they're made of in the fourth quarter. They're prepared to be uncomfortable in a fourth quarter game. And we're looking at this game Saturday, and I was watching how Georgia was on their last drive, and they were trailing, and it got to be 6 minutes, and I was like, this is the drive.
This is it.
You're down by 3. You're gonna tie it or win it on this drive. There is no, you're not looking for anything else. Georgia's has got their full plate of or a spade of plays. They're running the ball, passing the ball, and they got down and a 36-yard rumble. And man, I just like the way Chauncey Bowens runs the ball. He's shown the ability to bounce it outside if it's not inside, but he ran the play perfectly. They switched it from one side to another because they had a blitz coming from the left side. You saw Gunnar Stockton do that. Put him right down there, it's blocked perfectly, and he runs with so downhill. Yeah. When he gets downhill, he is running downhill, and he's still able to he's still shifty enough while he's in at full speed, which makes it tough to tackle.
I didn't get any of that from his high school tape. He runs in such a straight line in his high school tape. I didn't know, number one, how shifty he was, and number two, I had no idea that he has game-breaking ability. I kind of saw him as closer to a McCray type of runner than I did the playmaker. He's the playmaker in the Georgia backfield right now.
Yeah, and what bodes well for this weekend is that Mississippi State has scored 38 points 3 times this year. I think they scored 38 points in the past 2 games, against Arkansas this past weekend and against Texas the weekend before, who everybody talks about how good their defense is. Texas, they scored 38 points in that game. And but they do not stop the run well at all. They are terrible stopping the run in Georgia. If they want to, they should be able to limit possessions. And if you're worried about Georgia's defensive backfield, then they should be able to limit some possessions and actually absolutely control the game, running the ball. Yeah. And you want to see a lot of Chauncey Bowens. I hope you do. I hope you don't get too tricky and try to get 4 different running backs, equal amount of carries. This is one of those games. If you win this game, and this doesn't sound that big, but if you win this game, you open up so many more doors in terms of the playoffs. It's on the road, so it's not easy. And but if you win this game,
even just a couple of plays away from having a much different record this season. I mean, they've been a solid team.
We get all this talk about the conversation about the Big Ten and how I guess how strong the Big Ten is compared to SEC. This is the Mississippi State team. Yeah, who would do some damage in the Big Ten. I just tell you that because it's true. Mm-hmm. And they got some weapons, and they're. But if Georgia's not careful, they can score some points. But if Georgia leans on what they're good at and tries to get out of this game, then if something crazy happens against Texas and Texas is good enough to beat you, if you lose to Texas, then you only got 2 more SEC games. You need to win one of them, and you set yourself up so well. Because the ultimate goal is to be playing the best football when you get and make it to the playoffs. Right. And so you got to get to the playoffs. And winning this game this weekend, which Georgia should win, it's only a 7.5. No, it's another one of those. It's a small. Yeah. It's not a lot of.
It's 2 scores. Yeah. I think it's 7.5. Yeah.
So yeah, it can be a close game because that's what Georgia's weakness right now is their pass defense. And but if you win this game, you set yourself up for the playoffs so well. Yeah. Because you've got one more SEC game, and you got that one at home.
Yeah, I hate to say this way, you need a margin for error going into the last stretch, and you got Tech on the last day of the season, on a Friday. The Mississippi State game, you've got to win the games you're supposed to win because you're going to have 2 games that you're not going to be a huge favorite in. And so you got to go out and get it done this week. This week really does set up the rest of the season for the Dogs. If they go out and take care of business, they're really in control of their own destiny. And that's what you want. You go out there lackluster and take a loss at Mississippi State, and you've got to fight and claw and be almost perfect out the rest of the way.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out if the SEC and Birmingham and the officials are trying to, give Georgia a little more help this weekend. And if they do give us help, we're okay with it. It won't matter. But we just wanted to come today, talk about Florida, and let you folks know that if you look at statistics and look at the game, play-by-play, Georgia's not getting any breaks. They had more penalties and more penalty yardage against Florida than they have all year. And, that some of those plays could have went either way, and they didn't all go to Georgia for sure. Or it could have been a comfortable win down in Jacksonville, And it was not. It was a middle of the fourth quarter, find a way to win, grit it out. Georgia does what they do best. Got them into deep waters, and sometimes you swimming just fine when it's only 4 or 5 foot deep. But then when it gets over your head, you see they couldn't make the plays, and Georgia still made the plays. Looked very comfortable, very easy. They just continued to execute and do what they do. And 5 in a row against Florida. We love that.
That is, there's few more beautiful words, You know
what I find sad about the University of Florida Gators?
Everything. That's what we find sad about the University of Florida Gators.
Dawgs victorious, 24-20. We're gonna look for maybe Georgia might score 40 points this next weekend, and Mississippi State may score 30. So it may be one of those type games on the road. They are calling for more cowbell early game, and we're excited. I don't know if you saw any of the as we close this one out, Smooch. If you see any of the not the post game, but the midweek interviews, I got a chance to hear Jonas Ajonye, and what a great speaker. Have you heard him talk yet?
No, not really.
Check that out. It's on YouTube. Very entertaining, and he's got some good insight. It's like to hear that guy talk, and he was talking about. They asked him. He's one of those guys who will give you real answers instead of just So they asked him. So on that fourth down play, because Florida had 2nd and 2, Georgia stopped them 3 times. Wow, 3 times, 2nd and 2, and so everybody talks about the fourth down play. It was 2nd and 2, and on that fourth down play, they asked him. So what was you trying to do? And he said, just trying to get low and trying to crowd the ball and just shoot the gap. He said, that's exactly what I did.
Shoot gaps. Yes.
He said, on the sideline, Coach Scott's what he told me to do. He said, that's what I did. I got low. I crowded the ball, shoot through there. He was really the one that tripped them up and slowed it up for them to tackle him.
He was the collapse. He collapsed it. He collapsed it.
Yeah, he got right through there, and that's what we like to hear. Anyway, take a listen to him, John Ye. He's an entertaining dude, and just a redshirt freshman. Is he a redshirt? He's a second-year player, but I think he might be a redshirt freshman. But one of those guys who was learning on the job that we anticipate getting better and better. All right, folks. Well, we'll be back soon. Talk some more football for Smooch Moncrief. This is Troup Brinson saying so long. We'll see you soon.
This is the Dog Show with Troup and Smooch.
It's the Dog Show.